I'm a freight coordinator for a disaster supplies company. I handle their logistics and try to get needed supplies into areas that have suffered from a disaster. I live in Goose Creek, South Carolina. I've grown up here all my life. We are currently located about 40 minutes from MUSC. It's a long commute. Unfortunately, this summer, Cooper was visiting with his dad and there was an accident in the kitchen.
The pot fell and I tried to catch it, but instead it just fell on me.
He actually sustained second and third degree burns on both of his hands, both arms, both legs, and a portion of his stomach.
This arm was pretty bad because I believe it had third degree, and I believe a bit on this arm. Barely on this leg is what I know, and on my stomach.
I raced downtown to the point where I beat the ambulance there. So I was very ready to get to my son and be with him through such a difficult time. He was taken very well care of and was in much better spirits than I thought he would be. It was obviously a terrible experience for him, but I feel like the care that MUSC gave him made it as easy as it could possibly be.
We see approximately 200 to 250 burns a year. 90% of those are outpatient burns. That means that the child is burned, they come to either our burn clinic or the pediatric emergency room. We treat them there, and then they don't require inpatient admission, so they don't meet criteria to be an inpatient admission, but they still need active treatment.
He actually was able to leave the next morning and come home, and I credit a lot of that to the Teleburn app because we were able to stay in constant communication with MUSC.
It allows for the patients to kind of be back in control of their own plan of care and allowing them to do the dressing changes when it's convenient for them as opposed to coming into clinic, missing school, missing work. If they forgot to ask a simple question, they're able to send me a message and we're able to converse through the app.
I first heard about it when we were leaving the hospital. One of his nurses thought that it would be very useful for us, especially given the distance we live from the hospital, and it was a huge help during this process.
Those patients are driving here from, Myrtle Beach or Conway or Columbia or or Greenville for us to look at the burn. The app does a great thing because we really just have to look at it, and with our technology at the level that it is today, people's smartphones can really take a great picture or provide good video streaming. And so we can really look at the burn and provide adequate burn care in the home with the burn app.
So traditionally the way post-care is done is a child comes in with their caregiver, mom or dad usually, and then post-treatment is done in an archaic way, which is come back in 8 days. But really what happens is those first 1 to 5 days is the key days, because that's where the wound needs to be clean, dressing needs to go down, and parents don't know what they're supposed to do, and what they really want is that day-to-day contact and that assurance.
When you have a child that is injured, of course, you sort of question everything, and what's this, and is this progressing how it's supposed to? And if anything looks different or there's a change, you immediately want to rush them back to the hospital. But in Cooper's case, it was painful for him to go through that process and have to be taken to the car and driven down there. So with the Teleburn app, if I had any questions, I could take a picture, send it immediately, and get an answer from a medical professional almost right away.
I'm able to talk to them through the app. It's just like text messaging. I can check in with them, they can check in with me, we can ask questions, and then I'm able to also upload patients and what we've discussed into the medical record. I can be walking down the hall and text messaging a patient through the app with my phone, or I can be at home following up on emails and answering the patient through a PC at home. It's that simple.
Really just knowing it makes you feel less alone when you go through the process, and obviously sort of during the day there's family members and things like that, but if in the middle of the night he woke up and a bandage came off and I wasn't sure about how it looked, I, even in the middle of the night, could get an answer right away.
It's very fulfilling. This job can be very difficult and burns can be very stressful, not only on the patient but on the families as well. It's very cumbersome. They're having to do these daily dressing changes, and when we teach them how to do it in clinic, it's wild usually. The patients are usually very anxious and sometimes in pain, and it's upsetting for the families as well because they're having to see this injury. So for them to be able to send us a picture or send us a message through this app and have this accessibility to us, and for us to have this accessibility to them, it's so much easier, and I feel like it's making life a lot simpler for them as well as myself.
She really took care of him like he was her own child, and I could not have asked for a better partner in this experience.